Hi, guys. Welcome to Threads Podcast Life Unfiltered. We are recording episode 19.
19?
It says 18 on the rundown, but I think it's 19.
It's 19.
Okay, good. I am here with Ben, of course, and we have a guest tonight.
We do have a guest.
Brandy Van Houten. Hi, guys. Welcome to Threads Podcast, the loosey-goosey episode.
Yes, the loosey-goosey episode.
Let me check. Hang on. All right. We are golden. So, Ben and I are finally sitting down and chatting. It's been a while.
It's been a while.
Oh, my gosh.
That wasn't funny.
It was okay.
Okay.
I appreciate the dad joke.
I know. I got to get one in there sometime.
So, yeah, we're recording, and we're loving it, and we're just getting situated, and we're late, and I was playing a wrong video. And so, yeah, that's typical Threads Podcast, Life Unfiltered.
I mean, we are unfiltered around here.
Right.
Because Threads is all about just being who we are. And we're not perfect. And sometimes I like to try to come across as if I know what I'm doing. And I like to, have my poop in a group. But sometimes I just don't. And so on Threads, we like to just have conversations that get into the nitty gritty of life and really break things down beyond what we would necessarily talk about, in everyday conversations, just go a little deeper. So sometimes we do that with guests, and the other times we do that with ourselves, and we just have conversations that matter. And so that's just what we do here on Threads. And you mentioned that this is a loosey-goosey episode.
That's how you titled it. So.
Hey, I took your words. So, you want to tell us about tonight?
Yeah. So what we're gonna try to do is just wrap up some loose ends. It might get a little heated. I got some good feedback. My feedback.
So it has to be good if it's yours.
Right. Well, no, that's not necessarily true. But no, just everything that's been going on the last 6 months. That's what we're kind of doing. We don't really have a format. That my OCD is. First Ben's like, "Do you want a format?" And I said yes. And then I reached back and I was like, let's not. Let's just do something that's just a little bit more random, which gives me a little anxiety. But So that's what we're going to do tonight. Try to tie up some loose ends. I'm going to kind of break down a little bit of what Ben said and Andy said in the last episode. I think Ben's going to do some of that. So yeah, hopefully everything will go well and you don't want to shoot yourself 10 minutes in. Well, that was kind of weird since we talk about mental health. It's going to be one of those nights. I told Ben, I was like, man, you better look out because I am on fire.
I may just have to carry the show. We'll see.
We'll see. So what do you want to start? And then we'll just kind of go from there?
Yeah, I can do that.
All right.
I mean,
see that
you totally threw me for a loop because I put you first.
Okay, fine. I'll start. So
that's what happens when we don't have a structured format.
Right. So a couple of things, and some of these we don't have to elaborate on. Some of these we can glaze by them, whatever. So I don't really have a lot of feedback from the previous Ben and Andy episodes. They've been pretty good, other than technical stuff, whatever. That's boring.
We talked about that.
Who cares? So a couple of things. If you haven't listened to the other episode, it's not crucial about these because some of these are bigger things that maybe not specific to that episode, but we've talked about. So one of the things I want to know is, gross, when's the last time you've been to the dentist?
Wow, we're just going to jump right in.
I told you that. So,
Life Unfiltered.
So last episode, they started talking about a dentist, and Ben's like, yeah, I haven't been to the dentist. And Andy's like, well, you're on my insurance. And I'm like, how long has it been since you've been to the dentist?
Probably a year and a half, maybe 2 years. I'm thinking the 6-month cycles. I didn't miss a ton of them, but
all right. I was just like,
my dentist changed insurance providers and didn't take my insurance.
So you haven't really just gone to got it.
I just haven't.
I know.
Took an initiative to find a new one.
I used to be terrible with my teeth, and now I'm like religious every 6 months, and I brush and floss, and it's just teeth health is important, Ben.
Thanks, Jason.
See, like I said, it just
we're just gonna jump right in.
Right in. I'm gonna
go into the deep end.
I'm gonna.
I mean, why is that even a deep? I don't know.
Okay.
Well, I have. I've had crazy things with my teeth.
Okay.
Like, I have some that just never came in. My 12-year molars on one side never came in.
So they're not there?
They're stuck in the gum, like in the bone, fused. Not
so you don't have
down.
a full mouth of teeth?
Mm-mm.
Oh, that's weird.
It is.
See? It's good that we talked about it. I didn't know that.
You learn something new every day.
Do you have your wisdom teeth in?
No, I had those pulled out when I was in 8th grade, I think.
Okay, I was an adult.
I had the chipmunk effect going on for a few days.
Okay.
We were playing dodgeball in gym class, and I got to sit out because, well, I couldn't really have balls flying at my face.
Your wife just joined, too, so that ought to be funny. Andy, does Ben like balls flying to his face? Don't answer that. Okay, next thing I wanted to talk about is Star Wars. You've never watched any Star Wars? Like even the first so when I say the first 3, it's technically not the first 3.
Yeah.
But
the first 3 that were released.
Yeah, that came out in the 70s or whatever. You've never watched those?
See, I tried to. Like, again, I think it was 8th grade year. Something was traumatic about 8th grade year because I hate everything about 8th grade. But we went to a camp, and I think it was Camp Roger, and we watched them like on a rainy day, and I just hated them. I was like, what is this mess? So I think I fell asleep watching Star Wars, and then it set a precedent because every other time I attempted to watch Star Wars, I fell asleep.
I feel like, though, that's back when you would, so 8th grade, so what, like late 80s?
Excuse me?
Or like mid 90s?
Yeah. Yep.
Mid 90s. Okay. I guess the internet was around there. I don't know. Like when I watched them, like the sci-fi, like, whoa, this is cool. Like you never really seen any of that, but I'm not a huge, like, I have not watched all the Star Wars, so I'm not a huge fan. It's shocking to me that someone hasn't watched the first 3 that were released because they were pretty good. I tried. They were pretty good for their time. Maybe we need to watch them together.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Maybe. No, but then I took Stefan to see one of the most recent ones. I forget which one it was. I totally fell asleep in the theater. Yeah. It was so long, and I wasn't following it. Stefan likes them.
Are you into the superhero movies? Because I'm not.
Yeah, I like them, but I don't necessarily follow the storyline and how they're connected. Like, everybody tells me you got to watch them in this order. I'm just like, oh, I didn't watch them in any order.
Well, what I'm excited for is Disney is starting their own streaming service, and did they buy Marvel? I think they bought Marvel, so they will have all the Marvel movies, and you'll be able to watch them easily. Access them, I guess.
Yes.
So,
but you'd have to get approval from your wife to add another streaming service. So
well, we've talked about it. In breaking news, Disney is going to offer, because Disney owns Hulu.
Oh, really?
And they own ESPN.
What?
So you'll be able to get Hulu, Disney, ESPN Plus for $13 a month as a group.
Dang.
So we already do Hulu.
Yeah.
And ESPN Plus, whatever.
I'm not a huge sports nerd, but
no, but if people out there that like MMA, they now only can do. So it used to be a traditional pay-per-view. It didn't matter what cable service you had; you could just order it. Now you have to have this ESPN Plus for $10 a month to order a pay-per-view for UFC, which is kind of bullshit. But at least I'll have it now if I want to watch a fight. I haven't watched one in a while, but
we were gonna do that on like a guys' weekend. It just never happened.
Yeah, it was in the winter, and you guys all.
I was all for it, but then it became just you and I was like, that's a long way to drive in the winter.
I would do it. I love you, but you must not love me. All right, moving on. I love it that
you're just gonna.
I love it that Andy was recording in a recliner. How do you have the office set up where she can just like lay back and just like?
I had to move everything. I was so accommodating to her.
Oh, to do that, you had to move everything?
Well, yeah. Well, it's a small room. So we have a desk. It's from IKEA. It has like a bookshelf in the middle and then 2 desks on each side. And then next to the bookshelf, we have a filing cabinet with a printer. So we usually just sit at our desk chairs and everything kind of feeds to the soundboard on my side of the bookcase.
Okay.
And we move the printer. But Andy just didn't like that. She's like, I want to sit over there. I was like, okay, let me figure it out. So moved the soundboard, got a TV side table.
Oh, you're a good husband.
I was. And I mounted the mic on the side table and put it right up by her mouth. And she's like, this is perfect. I was like, good, because that was a lot of work to get it that way.
And I did hear a yawn come from her. I'm like, come on, Andy, let's try to be professional.
I mean, she was so comfortable.
I know.
So
Megan would probably like that because after a while, these chairs, she's like, these are uncomfortable because she doesn't sit straight up. Like,
oh, yeah.
You really, in these chairs, you have to put your butt all the way back and be like good posture.
Yeah, it's good for you.
So that was interesting. It
was fun. But then last night, this is after all the recording had finished. Last night, I went home to tuck Miracle in after doing some rideshare driving. And I'm trying to send messages to my friends in the rideshare group from my computer, and they kept showing up empty because little did I know, after moving everything around, somehow my soundboard got unplugged from my computer.
Okay.
So there was no signal going in.
That was hilarious.
I'm just like, what is going on? And I'm moving all the levels, changing all the dials. And then finally I realized, oh, the USB isn't plugged in. So
that's funny.
That was something.
I'm deleting all my things that I talked about so I don't get confused. So a couple of things. Chris Calcagno wants me to punch you in the face. He was never a reservist. He was an enlisted.
Oh, my bad.
That's offensive to those guys.
Must be. Sorry.
Although they're the same. I mean, it's the same branch, but he was not a reserve.
Okay. He was actual.
Yes.
My bad, Chris. I'm so sorry.
He did text me and said, punch Ben in the arm for me. And I said, okay, I won't punch him, but I had
So you made it in the face. He said in the arm.
Well, no, I was going to have this elaborate thing, like set up my phone to record. And then when you walked out, I'm like, hey, buddy, and just hit you in the arm and watch you just like go, what the blank?
And take you out.
Well, that would have got real weird. So, okay. So the counseling versus therapy, that was hilarious, your conversation about that. I think the reason I lean toward the therapy, because that's the act of service that you're getting. And I guess counseling is too, but when you're going to see a counselor, they're giving you therapy. Does that make sense?
Or they're giving you counseling.
Yeah, that doesn't work, does it?
Ooh, No.
No. I mean, I guess you're right. I still feel like
I think there's two different schools of thought.
yeah.
Out west in Oregon, when I took I did a semester of grad school for counseling,
Yeah.
therapy, whatever you want to call it. And the accrediting organization, I can't remember what it stands for, but it's KCREP, and it's counseling is one of the C's in there, not therapy. So
I mean,
don't know.
I think if you Google either, you're going to get the same results.
Yeah.
It just, I don't know why it doesn't matter really. And the truth, I was like, my counselor. It sounds like you're saying like it's a school counselor, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you would never say it's your school therapist.
I think too that therapist rings a lot better for people, because if you say you have a counselor, you're essentially saying I need someone to tell me what to do in life.
Yeah.
If you say I have a therapist, it adds a little professionalism to it, maybe.
Yeah, it sounds more yuppie.
Yeah.
My therapist.
Yeah. Not my counselor who tells me what to do.
Right.
What about Bob? What did they call
What about
him?
Bob?
Have you seen that movie?
Yeah, with Bill Murray?
Yeah. Was
Gosh,
it his
It's been probably 15 years.
therapist or counselor or
I bet
psychologist? I don't know. I love that movie.
Well, that's another one too, psychologist. I'm going to see my psychologist.
That's what Tom prefers to be referred to as.
So speaking of Tom,
Yeah.
couple things on that. First of all, it's weird to hug you.
No.
I feel like it.
I
yeah,
felt
it's
it
weird.
was pretty.
Your wife was like, okay. And I was like, when I was listening to it, because I do it while I'm at work, I'm like, yeah, okay.
It was like a man hug. I don't
Yeah.
know.
I mean, all jokes aside, it's just, I don't know. I don't know. I've
Yeah.
never hugged my therapist either. So,
Well, she's a woman, so that's
and that brings
different.
up another thing. You're really angsty on not having a woman therapist, where I prefer women over men.
I've just never had one, except in college.
But it sounded like you would prefer a man over a woman.
Yeah, I mean, just based on my experience.
Yeah, I don't know.
See, I had a time in college where I was going through it, and I made some comments to some friends that caused them to be concerned for me. And so they referred me to my RD, which is like the resident director of the dorms, the
Yeah.
guy in charge.
Yeah.
And as part of my being able to stay at the school, that's too strict. But as part of me continuing to be a student at Cornerstone, they required me to go see a counselor, a therapist in the counseling office.
You can't help it, can you?
I can't. It was introduced to me as a counselor.
I know.
So, and it was at the counseling center.
Right.
So, yeah, I think my world has always been counselor for whatever reason.
I think that needs to be a we don't do polls. I try to do polls, but I got to write a note somewhere.
Yeah.
Because I'll forget.
So, anyway, it was forced on me. I didn't have much of a choice in the matter. I had to go. And the person that I saw was a woman, and I don't think I really connected with her very well. So I just kind of had a sour experience with a female counselor. And ever since then, I've just naturally pursued guys as counselors.
Here's something that maybe you don't realize about me, and maybe I never bought. I actually connect better to females than I do men.
What does that say about me?
It either says we don't connect well or you're a bitch. No, I wonder if I struggled with my mom. I did not really have a great relationship, a female kind of role model. So I feel like I tended to, like, even in high school, I always hung out with the girls. I didn't have a ton of guy friends.
Really?
I don't know. I mean, I was always a player. Like, I always flirted. Like, that was,
of course,
that
you
was
still do.
Yeah, but that was my thing. Like, I enjoyed doing it. It was fun. It was just all playful stuff. It wasn't like, I'm trying to get in your pants. But
Yeah.
I mean, I would if it was offered. But so I don't know. I just connect better to females than males. Can you put that mic in front of you instead of on the side?
You're so much like my wife.
It's yes, thank you. Although maybe your nose won't breathe into it on the side. I don't know. I told you guys this is going to be a crazy episode. So, where were we on that? So Tom, honestly, when you said when Tom said to you, well, call me if you need me. Ben, that's where you need to say, no, I will see you in 2 weeks. Like, you don't need your counselor or therapist to tell you. Like, you're the boss in that situation. You're paying him. He works for you. I mean, looking at it as a dumbed down level, Heather always says to me, so what are you thinking? And then I say, yeah, I'll see you in a couple weeks. Or I'll see you in a month. Like last time, we had scheduled them 2 weeks apart, and I almost canceled. And then she said it was going to be an $85 cancellation fee.
That's right.
And then I was like, nope, I'll go.
See you there.
Yeah. And so then when we talked, she said, well, what do you think? And I was like, let's do it every month. So my personal opinion is I think you need to be in therapy regularly. I think you have a lot of struggles that you just think you have a handle on, but you don't. And now that's not being offensive. I'm not trying to be offensive. I'm not saying you're like a shitty person or anything, but I think there's stuff that you could work on, honestly. Like healthy people go to therapy. Hashtag.
Are you using my wife's hashtag?
Yeah, I am. I really think that's true. I'll be honest with you, the last 2 months, I haven't really been working on anything, but I think once a month is good. I have an appointment tomorrow. It's Sunday. Yeah. And, I don't know. I just think you would benefit from it because I don't know. Because you internalize. I almost said the F word. See, we're getting loose. You internalize everything, and that's another thing I wrote down. We talked about the criticism, all the criticism that I give you, and you're like, oh, I'm not a critical person, and you're like, no, yeah, I think you kind of are, but you just don't say it. You just put it all inside, and then
maybe
I don't know. I think that's it. I mean, again, we're just having a conversation. I'm not like trying to throw you under the bus. And I didn't think you did on the podcast either. I do. Most of it's constructive, but I have really worked on if it's not, unless it's something that's bringing the show down, whether it be technical or, your mic's over here and you're talking like this.
What? Did you say something?
Those kind of things. But I've really tried. Like I listened to your last episode and you did not ask for feedback and I did not give it, but I really wanted to. But I was like, nope, this is what we've worked on. Ben does not want it. And I said, okay. So I didn't do it. And obviously I'm giving it to you now.
Well, yeah.
But that's part of the episode.
Sure.
So I feel like I'm talking way much. I have so much. Okay. Water turning to blood. That's not a thing.
What?
In the Bible, he turned water into blood? That's what you said on the podcast.
No, I meant to say water into wine.
Right. And then Andy said that, but didn't call you out on it. I'm like, wait, okay, maybe she was being nice and not calling you out on it.
I don't think she even caught it.
Maybe, yeah. That is tough in real time when you're recording it. But I was like, okay, I know I went to Christian school. I've read the Bible. I'm pretty sure he didn't turn water into blood. I'm not sure what the purpose of that would be.
Right.
Just freak people out or something. So I thought that was funny.
Yeah, oops. Oh, that's funny because back when I was a pastor in Oregon, I was interviewing at this church that I was going to work at, and I kept getting my Bible stories mixed up. It was
during
really
the
good.
interview?
Like during the Sunday that I was there candidating.
That's funny.
And everybody thought it was just hilarious. I got Moses and Elijah mixed up somehow. I mean, they're both in the Old Testament.
And they're all long-haired hippies.
It's true. But anyway.
That's funny.
I digress. My wife said that like several times in the podcast.
Yeah, she did. I wanted to drive off a cliff. Just kidding.
What does that mean?
Just
I
kidding.
digress.
Well, I think, I think people say that in podcasts all the time. I think I don't know what it means. I think it means like going back.
Course.
Yeah, I'm going back to what we were talking about.
Yeah.
Okay. One thing I would recommend when you guys are talking, especially, is to explain your acronyms. You were talking about CBT. I know what that is. Cognitive behavioral therapy. Mm-hmm. A lot of people don't. You had a couple other things where you talked about a movie you didn't. I didn't even know what movie it was. It was something with Shack. I heard the word Shack.
The Shack.
That's the name of the movie?
The Shack.
Okay.
It's also a book.
Okay. I was thinking Black Shack that played basketball when I heard that. So I'm not going to lie. So those are the things I wrote down. Two other things real quick, and then we'll move on. Online therapy. You guys went hard in the paint about that. I thought that was such bullshit because...
What?
dude, if someone's going to kill themselves or really needs help and the online therapy works for them, what do you care? Some people can't afford to go to therapy. If they can pay, they don't have insurance, so they can pay $30 for an hour session, and most of them are video. And there are texting ones, but it was really surprising to me. I was so mad at you guys. I was just like, in my professional opinion, and I'm not hating on anyone. I was just like, guys, this is what 2020 is or 2019 is. Like, yeah, if I could text my therapist real time, that would be amazing. Like, hey, I have the situation. I need to bounce it off you real quick. Yeah, this is probably what I would do, but you really need to think about it.
But
okay,
the
thanks.
therapeutic bond, like you would only text that to her because you already have an established bond.
True.
How do you have that kind of a bond with somebody that you don't see face to face?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think majority of those, and I could be wrong. I didn't sit down and do research, but I see those ads too all the time on Facebook.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
I know.
The one where the therapist is sitting in the pool with all of her clothes on.
I've never seen that one.
Yeah,
See,
it's weird.
I think most of them are video. I really do. I bet if you looked into it, and I just feel like, you brought up the rural people that live out in the boonies. I just think it's such an advantage. Why not get that out? Yes, I agree with you. Is it better to sit face to face? 100%.
Sure.
Is video better than texting? 100%. So you're right. If it was just like a texting service without any video and you've never met the person, I mean, if it helps them though, why should we hate on it? I guess.
I don't know if we were hating on it.
I don't know. You guys both went hard in the paint, I thought.
Yeah.
You know what hard in the paint means? I said it to
No.
Megan. Okay. So it's a sports term.
Oh, the paint like on the basketball?
Yes, where you're like going
I
hard.
had to
like
stop and think for a
yeah,
second.
like you're driving in. I mean, I don't even watch sports anymore, but
Did you ever?
yeah, I used to love sports.
Really?
To be super into NBA.
What happened?
I just ran out of time. Like, I'm just busy with family and stuff, and I get so excited for Lions football, and then I sit down and I can't sit still for 3 hours. I'm like, I cannot. I don't know. I feel guilty doing it. I don't know why, but so yeah, I'm not into it. But yeah, I just feel like the online therapy I think can work like Annie brought up the Skype thing. I think most of them are video. Maybe we should test a few out.
I think we got other ideas we need to do first.
Yeah, you're probably right. Alex on YouTube. Haha, Ben is a bee.
A bee.
Called you a bitch. Remember?
Oh, yes, that's right.
Oh, Ben's getting uncomfortable over there. I'm
not uncomfortable.
You sure?
I'm positive.
I think one other thing, and you talked about Andy's opinion about the God question, which I liked. I liked you talked about it. But the one thing you did not portray the way we do it, like basically coming out, not what you think about God. Be like, do you believe in God?
I don't.
Because
remember asking.
That's the problem. That's what I have about it is like a jump attack. It feels like you've been signed out. Why? How have I been signed out?
From where?
My threads of your account. It just kicked me out.
That's cool.
Yeah.
On Facebook?
No, on our Google Drive.
Oh.
Sorry.
Be more specific.
Yeah, I apologize. No, I think when you say if you would introduce it as, so one of the things, like you kind of did, one of the things that we talk about a lot on threads is in Life Unfiltered, and part of that life is faith. And I'm wondering what your opinion on faith is. Like, that's a real good intro, but saying, do you believe in God is so...
I don't recall ever just
you didn't
saying, do you believe in God?
Well, you didn't do it as aggressive as I just did, but I feel like that's how we jumped into it. So I think we can still do that. I just think we need to kind of... I'm okay with that. I really am, because it's important to you. Not to say it's not important to me, but on a scale, it's less than what it is for you, and that's okay. That's what makes us tick. But I just think if we present it a little bit different, so I'm fine with that. That's all. So I got to sign in a little bit. So
a little bit.
Go ahead.
All right. Does that wrap up all of your
I
feedback?
think so. I can't tell because I got logged out of Drive.
Let's see.
And I forgot our password.
Do you need me to tell you that on the air?
No, I got it.
Okay. You put breathing on there.
Yeah, I did, because like I wasn't going to talk about that.
I wasn't sure who it was.
Well,
Because I heard it too.
It was mostly towards the end. I think you were getting tired, and Andy was talking like, and you were like,
I think she was like right on the mic and almost falling asleep towards the end. Because I heard it too.
Well, I feel like you're more nasally anyways, because you're the only one that I ever hear breathing on all of our podcasts. So
I
it's
don't
okay.
know why,
It's just one of your things. So
it is.
I'm logged back in.
Okay.
So then I put the Meyer thing on there, but you have that later on. So I'm
sure
good.
Do.
I'm good on mine. So do you want to cry now?
I'm broken inside now. Man, just put me on the spot.
I know. I was like rambling down there, and I don't know what it was. It's just I was like, oh, we're gonna do a loosey goosey. I actually listened to the episode again today while I was out working because I was like, I want to make sure I get all my topics. So
yeah, it was a fun episode.
I would say it was not one of my favorites between you two, but that's what it's. But don't be. And if Andy if she hears this, it's not an offensive thing. Like Megan and I will say, yeah, it was okay.
Yeah.
And Ben and I was like, it was okay. It wasn't our best. I didn't have as much fun as I normally do, but it's okay. I mean, we're up to 40 some episodes. I mean, you're gonna have some not stinkers, but you're gonna have some that are just like whatever.
Yeah. I mean, there's TV shows that are like that too. You watch an episode, you're like, yeah.
Or it's like a building episode where it's like they have to do a lot of stuff to get to the next one.
Yep.
But I will say I really appreciate the way you brought Chris back into it. Like I really liked how you're really good at bringing it back around, which is helpful to me if we get sidetracked. You do a great job with that.
Yeah, it was tricky because the Chris episode, I feel like that one, it was good. It wasn't horrible.
No.
But at the same time, it's like what you're saying. So I feel like we had to recap an episode that wasn't a huge. I mean, it's always fun to recap the episodes that really get us fired up. Right. I just don't think we were super fired up after Chris's episode, is all I'm saying.
Well, yeah, I mean,
there wasn't a whole lot to debrief.
Yeah, we didn't get really deep on stuff.
Yeah,
and that's okay. They don't.
It is.
Chris is going to hear this and drive off the road because he always sends me texts. He sent me a text because he listens. I mean, he will hear this. He said, "Oh, I hear you're not doing interviews anymore. Is it something I said?" No, I hope he's kidding, but I'm like,
no, Chris, it's not you. It's us.
I would spit my water out.
No. And it's nothing against Chris. It's just we try to, vary the subject material that we cover on this show. And it was a wild card having a sci-fi author on who's also your neighbor. I mean, it was a wild card.
Oh, and by the way, at the beginning, I didn't say we hated each. Like I made that joke. We've hung out a few times, but
we don't really like each other.
I thought that was hilarious.
It was awesome. It was a great way to start a podcast.
Yeah, like how awkward, right?
So, no, it was a good episode, Chris. Don't take this as me being like that was horrible. It wasn't. I'm just saying it was not our norm, our typical episode.
Right. You're not a huge sci-fi. I don't mind sci-fi, but I don't read really. I mean, I hate to say that. I love Audible. Either. I love Audible. Like I love podcasts. I just get so much more out of listening to it than reading it.
I think the episode would have been better if you and I had a little bit more involvement with his book.
Yes.
And be more familiar with it.
Yeah, because
we both just didn't.
Well, maybe we make a commitment that when it comes out, we read it. Like it was going to be tough. It was in a Word format on my phone. I mean, and I got excited, like I said, because I thought I read the first chapter, and it was not the first.
You read the first scene.
The first scene. So when it's published, we'll get a copy, we'll read it, and then we'll really, so we can kind of pump it a little bit.
Yeah, more, absolutely. So. And again, I think I'd really enjoyed the story just based on my newfound fascination of sci-fi.
Yeah.
So
no, it sounds cool. I mean, that's it. I feel like that's different from sci-fi, like Star Wars.
Yeah.
It's kind of different. It's apocalyptic and just kind of that kind of stuff. So I do want to read it, and maybe he'll do it. I don't know. I don't know what the deal is with audiobooks. Like, I don't know if you can just if it costs more or whatever.
I don't know.
Do it, Chris.
Seriously.
Help us non-readers.
Yeah. So, speaking of sci-fi and apocalypse, I am on the last episode of Dark Season 2, and I just cannot sit down and finish it. Like, because it's the last episode.
You just don't want to?
I don't want it to be done.
So it's the last episode ever?
I'm sure they'll come out with the season 3.
Oh, okay.
But still, it's like...
what is Dark? Give us the synopsis, because I don't know what you're talking about.
It's kind of familiar or similar to Chris's book about switchers.
Ah.
Time travel. So it's essentially, there's like 3 time periods, the 50s, the 80s, and present day. And also future.
Sorry.
Everything okay?
Yeah, I was looking at the time.
Oh, okay. And so the characters in the story find a time machine, essentially. And like there's a nuclear power plant at the center of it, because why wouldn't there be? It's apocalypse. So they go back and forth, and it's kind of like the butterfly effect. They try to undo the damage that they caused, and then other things fall apart. So really interesting storylines. That's what draws me to it. And then just the whole sci-fi element of time travel. It's kind of weird, but it's been really fun to see how it's portrayed in the show.
Yeah, sci-fi is so, the description of it is so crazy, because like Star Trek, I mean, that's kind of not time travel, but like they beam you places.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you're kind of traveling in time.
Kind of.
And then you got Star Wars, and then it's a wide range of stuff. So
I like how they just kind of blend the storylines together so well. And it doesn't feel like I'm watching a sci-fi show at first blush.
Right.
So it's been really fun.
Yeah. Also, so it's called Dark.
Yep.
Okay.
It's a little bit, well, okay. So it's originally filmed in German. So they're speaking German, but Netflix magic, they've adjusted it to English. So sometimes it's not horrible like the Japanese movies back in the day, where their mouths and the words don't match at all.
So they're speaking German, but
they've dubbed it in English somehow.
Well, that's weird.
It's really weird, and it looks like they're saying the English words. I don't know how they did it. Netflix magic.
Millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Huh.
But then I watch with the closed captioning on, because sometimes I just don't catch everything that's said, and it's hilarious because the closed captioning does not match what they're saying at all. It's really funny.
Oh, yeah.
But no, it's a really good storyline and enjoyable show. So, anything else for me?
Nope.
Man, you're going to get off the hook pretty easy tonight, because I didn't have a whole lot.
What do you mean for me?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah.
We should just call this the Jason Interviews Ben episode.
No. I mean, you have Ben respond to Jason Megan episodes, and then you put Miracle on underneath there. So
yes,
I
sure
what's that
did.
About?
So, let's see. Something interesting that I've noticed about you in our friendship. You will have my back relentlessly when it comes to the things I'm passionate about, whether that's family, my faith, my job. Like, I've heard you on many different episodes just kind of stand up for me. And anytime I come across as like if we ever did our flubs, you'd always have like a, well,
I know. Well, it's just because I don't know why that is. I just try
it's
to.
Interesting, because I feel like on threads Jason is different than off threads.
Oh, don't say that.
Jason. A little bit. I feel like on the show, you come across as being incredibly supportive, and you are, and it means the world to me. But sometimes in our Telegram or anywhere else conversations, you tend to dig a little deeper and be a little critical sometimes. And it's never intended to harm me. I know that. I know that. But it's like it's two different types of feedback. One saved for the show and one saved for
I hated that you say that, because that kind of defeats the purpose of our podcast.
I just wanted to hear your thoughts on that.
Ooh, I hated that you say that.
Up until tonight, though, because you did kind of just give it to me, which was good.
Yeah, I mean, so with podcasts, there's always some showmanship.
There is.
I mean, you can't. I mean, I have yelled at you and said the F word before. Like, I'm not going to do that on the podcast.
Maybe you should. It might help our ratings. I don't know.
That's interesting. Kind of kind of got me a little uncomfortable here.
How's it feel?
Not good. Not good. The only thing I can think is, so Megan talks about that too. She's like, you're out in the world and you're maintaining, and you come home and then you're kind of a dick. And I was like, well,
wow.
This is my safe space.
It's true.
This is where I don't have to worry about getting fired, getting shot, getting hit in the face. Like, I mean, I'm being extreme with that.
Getting shot?
Well, just because I got in a fight with somebody.
No.
You know, I mean, my point is like I try all day to make sure that I keep a level head.
Mm-hmm.
And I struggle with that on a daily basis. So then when I get home, I kind of relax a little bit, and then
the guard comes down.
The guard comes down. And that's the only thing I can relate. I have to back up and say I do support you.
I know
with
that.
other things.
Absolutely.
Like, it's not like I'm just like 100% critical.
You're not. And I don't want that to ever come across that way, because
Right.
you're not. I'm just saying, I've just noticed a distinction. It's like you kind of save that for later. And I think there's a level of respect with that, because when you're coming to me with things that I can work on, or things that you feel I need to pay more attention to, I'd rather that just be between you and I. That doesn't have to be on the show. I'm just making an observation.
And when I bring those things up on the show, they are truthful. Like,
Absolutely.
it's not like I'm just like patting your stats. You know what I mean? Another sports reference. Why I keep doing that. I don't even watch
You're
sports.
a sports fan, apparently.
I know. I'm like,
I like
closet.
sci-fi and you like sports.
I know, it's coming out right now. But no, I don't. I mean, it's all true. It's just, I don't know. I think maybe it's because we're face to face and I see the vulnerability in you, and I'm just like, oh, look at, he's heartbroken. Like, I gotta like make him feel better,
Right?
and
build them up.
Well, we talk about, you know, the therapy, the video, but you and I are in Telegram, and yeah, we're hearing each other's voice, but we're not face to face, so we're not seeing facial expressions.
I am definitely more of a dick on Telegram than I am in person. I will admit that.
Well, yeah, I think a lot of people. It's same with being on a troll on the internet. You know, there's no face to it.
And I have a customer that has been an absolute dick to me over email. And finally I said, look, if you want me to provide resolution to you, I need to meet with you face to face. Like, and I offered that several times. And each time he would cancel and reschedule, and it just wouldn't ever happen. So I was like, look, if this is truly as important to you as you say it is, let's meet face to face.
Yeah, let's solve this problem.
And let's figure this out. So Tyler and we went to Starbucks, and he actually showed up.
Okay.
He's the nicest guy.
That's so funny.
It was so weird. Like, we had a great conversation.
When I worked in the office, I don't anymore, at Weed and Feed, we would have the same thing. People would email in and just be like irate and just constantly just being a jerk. And then you talk to them on the phone, and it was like, hey, how's it going? You know, not a face-to-face, but, and I'm like,
What
is this the same person?
Exactly.
So I don't know what it is, but there is importance to, you know, when you and I met at Graydon's, you know, like
that was needed.
It was needed.
Very needed.
It was needed. And
I was in a rough spot.
yeah, and I think that face-to-face, and that's why we talk about, that's why Ben's like, we got to get back to our you and I episodes, because I think we were kind of losing, not that we're losing friendship, but I mean, we're busy. We don't have we don't have a lot of bro time where we're just not talking about podcasting, not talking about ride sharing, not talking about the other podcasts, like just being like, hey, what's up? Like, let's have some beers. Let's just shoot the shit. And so this is that kind of our opportunity to do that without our phones going off and wondering what's going on. So, woo.
You good?
I'll talk to you later.
Oh, boy. I'm sure you will when nobody's listening. Just you
Oh, what a jerk.
No, let's see. And then I put Miracle on here because when you and Megan had that episode to recap the parenting styles episode,
Yeah.
oh, it was so good.
Okay.
That was such a good episode. To be honest, I think I was in tears a couple of times just
Really?
because you got it. Like, you understood.
Right.
And that, when somebody finally understands something that you've been trying so hard to communicate,
Yeah.
it's just like a burden is kind of taken off.
Or understanding your struggle.
Understanding what life is like raising Miracle.
Yeah.
Because it's challenging and it's different.
Right.
And we don't do things the traditional way. And again, people are so much more apt to be like, you should do this instead.
And I did fall into that. And so
you did. But I feel like on that episode, I just felt like this huge weight lifted, I guess.
That's good.
Of like, sweet. Jason and Megan, they get it. And they're advocating for us. And they're being incredibly supportive of us. And I was just like, this is so good.
Well, I'm glad.
Yeah.
You know, we fall into the same situation with the autism with Sully. It's not so much anymore, but no one understood why we couldn't go to certain areas because we would freak out.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
and it's just, you felt kind of alone that you're like, you guys don't, and like even our own parents didn't get it.
Oh yeah.
You know, and it is nice when somebody, is just like, I understand, and and then can articulate, not just say I understand.
Yeah, but then actually talk about it on a podcast episode.
Yeah, well, I'll have to go back and listen to that one. I just spoke from the heart. You know what I mean?
It was good. So that was really encouraging. And then let's see. That wasn't a you and Megan episode. I'm just thinking back to Gabe. That was also really good. Gabe kind of put me in my spot a little bit at the end.
Yeah.
It was good.
I think it's fun to break them down because what we talked about is it's happening in real time. Again, we're putting on a show too, so there's other, as much as I want to just be like not worry about everything else, there is some other things that we're thinking about what's up next, and so you miss some of that stuff. So the breakdowns are cool because you're like, oh, no, Ben really meant this. He didn't get it out right, but I know Ben, and I can't remember what it was. It was something. Oh, it was. Is it better to have? They say it's better for the child to be with the original parents. That's a weird biological parents.
Yes.
But you said no, that's more important. But what you meant was healthy biological parents.
Exactly.
And so that kind of got missed in translation.
It did. And super interesting. Today, Miracle's first foster parents reached out to us.
Oh, today?
Yeah. And apparently they had pictures of when she was with them. And that's like a big section of her life that's been missing. So, and one thing that she said that just really stands out to me was when she came to us, she was not broken like she is now. And it's so true. It's really sad and frustrating. So she went to the foster family who had her until this aunt showed up out of the woodwork, and she turned out to be a real piece of work. And so then the aunt took custody and adopted Miracle. And again, being with biological family is important. I believe that. But they have to be healthy. And they have to be able to take care of the kid.
Right.
And if they can't, then no, they shouldn't be with them. So that kind of just revealed to me again that qualification that you were talking about. Like they have to be in a good spot. They have to be healthy and able to care for their kids.
Yeah, I feel that is that why the state tries so hard? I mean, you pretty much have to murder somebody before you get your kid to. I mean, as far as the mom, maybe not the dad. The dad. I mean, we can go into that. The dad writes, and I don't remember if Todd and I. That's coming out Friday.
It
y'all.
is. Yep.
But I don't know if we talked about that because he's had some. I think we did on the podcast, but how dads just get the shaft when a divorce happens. But yeah, it seems like it. I mean, I understand that the CBS wants to. Did I say CBS? CPS. Child Protective. Is that the right organization? Or
it is.
I don't know. Well, the government wants it to be with the biological, and they really have to be like strung out drug addicts before they actually take them away. And maybe they're trying to keep them with the birth parents, but it's frustrating when they keep failing. And I'm just like, all right, it's fine. Let's move on.
Exactly.
You're done. And I hate saying that because I would be devastated even if I was a drug addict that I'm going to lose my kids. But I don't know. I feel like. Oh, man, I'm going to get some hate for this. But I feel like, man, if you love your kids, like, go get help. Like, I mean, I get it. It's an addiction. But I would be like, okay, I have hit the bottom. I need to get rehab. I cannot lose my kids. So, I don't know. Some people weren't meant to be parents.
Yeah. It's true. What's interesting, though, is that you don't have to take any classes
I know.
to be a parent.
Megan and I talk about it all the time. You just like, whatever. We have sex. We have a kid.
Yeah.
And
But in order to become a foster parent or an adoptive parent, your entire life is picked apart by the adoption agency.
right.
And it's just like, hold up. Isn't this kind of in reverse? Shouldn't the parents have to go through this so that they don't end up in situations?
Right.
I don't know.
I think humanity itself, and not just in America, if there were mandatory, and again, I'm a small government guy, so that I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth.
Yeah.
But like, if you're going to have a kid, okay, so you're pregnant, and one of the requirements you have to take these classes or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a touchy subject
It
because
is.
it's like this is all free will.
You
Like,
can't really mandate that.
I know, but
But this is where I think the church is missing a huge opportunity.
interesting.
Why isn't there, like, in an ideal world, I feel like it's the church. The church should have a place in the world, in society, and have a reputation for caring for kids so people know in general that if I need help raising a child, or if I don't know how to do this, I can just show up at a church on Sunday and get the help I'm looking for.
So so you're saying having people on staff be like, oh, you're struggling? Here, this is the room. Let's go and let's chat.
Yeah, I mean, either that or just having some sort of system or structure in place so that the church isn't just seen as an elite club for the people that go there.
The problem is I don't think that'll ever work because that's always been the case.
It's been the case in America. But I think if you go back to the church's origins outside of America and in Bible times,
that doesn't mean anything for 2020. I keep saying like I've already jumped 6 months for this year, but
2019.
But that doesn't mean anything for right now.
Well, it should. I think we can learn from our history.
Well, the church can, but I'm talking about someone that's not a churchgoer.
Yeah.
They look at the church as hypocritical and...
But that's exactly what I'm saying. We've gotten so far off course from what the church is actually supposed to be.
I actually like that thought process, but I would take it out of the church and make it like the Cherry Street Health Clinic. Like, this is what we offer. You can come in. Here's our number. If you need help as a parent, we'll sit down and we'll try to. I mean, maybe there is. I don't even know.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I think that I like that thought process.
I just feel like the church in America is kind of a joke, and
it is.
I love it. Don't get me wrong. But it goes back to the quote I shared on the David Tiesma interview.
Dang.
I know, right?
Wasn't that like our first episode?
First interview.
First interview, yeah.
We talked about Augustine's quote, "The church is a whore, but it's also my mother."
Oh, okay.
And it's so true of the American church. Like,
right.
The American church has whored itself out to all these different things that don't matter, and they've lost sight of their original focus.
Roots.
But at the same time, while doing that, somehow they've maintained their status of like a mother that cares for their kids and watches out for them. So it's just so convoluted and weird.
Well, I think what happens is you get people that start the church and they have this idea, and then you get a bunch of other people that have the same idea, whether it's a good idea or a bad idea, and it becomes the church. Like, we don't focus on outreach, or we say we do, but we don't, and those kind of things.
And we are in a church that does. Like, Berkeley Hills, we nailed it. Like, last week, we canceled services and just went out in the community and did service projects. And then Tuesday night last week, we did National Night Out. We had 500 people show up from our community. And
that's really good.
It's crazy. So, and then the service projects that we did a week ago, one of them was at a alternative high school, and we essentially took an empty room and turned it into a food pantry for their students.
Okay.
And not only were there church people there, but there were also teachers that showed up. There were mentors that work with kids there. So people outside of the church are joining with these church people to do these projects. And that happened at several different sites. It's just incredible. So, so I really like my church.
But here's a real big question. When's the last time you talked to your neighbor and invited him to church?
I know, right? We were talking about that. You invited Chris.
You guys gave me way too much praise for that. I mean, it was...
Well, you did it. I don't do that.
Well, here's the thing. Like, our daughters aren't friends anymore. It's cool. They might become friends again. It's girls. I mean, whatever.
They're so catty.
Yeah, I mean, Avery used to be into skirts and pretty stuff, and now she wears leggings and T-shirts. Like, you know, so things it changes. So Chris's daughter Georgia and Avery were friends, and Avery wanted Georgia to go to the youth group. So that's kind of how it started. And I thought, you know, Chris, you should come to church. You know what I mean? And I wish I would have been like, hey, come to a live, because Evergreen. Yeah, I mean, I liked Evergreen, the community, but, you know, just as far as the organization and the preaching was just not my cup of tea. But but yeah, that's how it started. But that is how hard would that be to go up to a stranger?
Well,
and be
why
like,
would you though?
Yeah, but doesn't God, you know, Jesus talking about witnessing, I mean, doesn't he ask that? Or he just,
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think he asks
it's not
us,
laid out specifically.
Yeah, I feel like he calls us to go out into the world and make disciples.
Yes.
But you can't make a disciple just by walking up to someone and being like, hey, you need Jesus, come with me.
You mean the guy that wanted to pray with you?
Yes.
Or did pray with you?
Yes.
Just started?
Yeah.
And we've talked about that, but
that doesn't work.
No, it doesn't. The forcing of the word doesn't work. But no, I mean, I wonder if you could think back into your acquaintance list. I'm sure there's people that don't go to church. They could be like,
it's so interesting because last night, or no, wait, it was this morning at 4:00. We're sitting at Vito's Pizza, and it's Jesper and I, and Gabe and Pete. And Pete, at one point in his life, was pretty involved in the church. Like, he was on the praise band, but things went south real quick. And then Pelka was there, too. Did you know that's not really even her name?
Correct.
But, you know, side note.
Yeah.
So we're sitting there, and then Jesper's like, I don't think I'm going to go to church in the morning. And I was just like, yeah, well, I'm signed up to greet for second service, so I got to be there. And just the look on Gabe and Pete's faces, they were just like, what? And
what do you mean?
Like, that's a thing? Like,
to greet?
Or to go to church, or, you know, to go even though I'm
tired
up at 4:00 in the morning eating pizza. Anyway, so I just felt like I got deer in headlights looks from them. Now, could I have said, hey, guys, you want to join me? I probably could have. Talk about a natural segue.
Yeah, it would have been perfect just to say, I know you guys, you know, you maybe have had involvement in the church before, but our church is great. We'd just come, you know, sometime, you know, and just start a conversation about that. I would never be one of those people that, you know, like, bugs people. If they don't want to go, like, whatever.
Right.
Like, I just say I get a lot out of it. I feel like, you know, the friend circle I have, and I could be wrong, but I feel like I'm respected for, I mean, yeah, I talk a lot of shit. I know that, but
really,
but Gabe always says, he breaks it down really cool. Cause, Pelican and I started talking a little bit, not really personally, but more in the groups and stuff. And Gabe says to her, he's like, Jason's really rough around the edges, but we've had some deep conversations. Like, he has that connection available, but on the outside, he just talks a lot of shit. And I just think, you know, they respect that I'm trying to, like, not browbeat them to come to church, but it's like, I really feel this could be important for you. And if you don't get anything out of it, you don't, but let's give it a try.
Yeah. Can't hurt. So, all right, moving forward, because I want to get to the Meyer story. It's just such a good story.
I've heard it like 3 times.
No, and nobody else has.
I feel like Chris needs to be on. I feel
we
like
need to dial him in. And
yeah. We'll Skype him in.
Yeah.
we do need to figure out. I have a way to get phone calls in there, but that would be cool for him to. We should have thought about that before,
right?
But anyways,
just wanted to also circle back to the Todd Chance episode. I really pissed Jason off that night. I mean, and rightfully so. So what happened was, I double booked myself. I overcommitted and underdelivered.
Well, there's no excuse there.
Yeah.
I didn't give you that out because I was so pissed. I mean, we're talking 2 hours. No, maybe like 8 hours before you canceled. And You're a professional, Ben. You're a professional in work. You book all these appointments. Like, you and Andy needed to communicate. And I felt like you threw Andy under the bus. And I was like, no, this is Ben. You're the one that should put it in cozy so that you know what I mean?
Sure.
We don't have to rehash it, but you can give your excuse why you didn't show up. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to try to do both in one day, and that's the problem. I can't do that. I don't have that kind of bandwidth to do that. So we were originally going to be at my parents' cottage that they rented, and I just thought in my head that somehow I was going to be able to do both things.
Do a Superman move and
yeah, just fly to Jason's house. I don't know.
Yeah.
I was not thinking about it logically.
yeah.
I was thinking about it relationally. I want to make my parents happy, and I want to make Jason happy.
No. It's not making Jason happy. It's a commitment that we made months ago. It wasn't like, hey, Ben, can you do this favor for me?
Sure.
That would be trying to make me happy. It would be like, you committed to this. This is our podcast. Sunday nights we record.
Mm-hmm.
And this has been scheduled out a couple of months, like since the beginning of June. So,
and I think that's also when, I mean, my parents was scheduled too. It just wasn't on my radar.
see, that makes it even worse. I would have been better if there was a pop-in thing and you're just like, whatever. But yeah, so you guys just didn't communicate on that. And I get it. But that, you've done that before. And the first time I was like, okay, whatever. But this is like, he promoted it. And I was really bummed because I thought, what a great episode for you to be at.
It would have been 100%.
So, you feel bad now?
I've always felt bad.
Don't
about
feel
it.
bad. It's over and done with. You just brought it up, so
I did.
That's why I'm talking about it.
Okay.
Because have I brought it up since then?
You have not.
Exactly. I'm like, all right, whatever. Moving on.
We figured it out. We hashed it out. So,
Is there any more than I thought you were going to talk a little bit more about that?
I don't really have anything else to say about it.
No.
I just wanted to bring it up because it was kind of, I mean, that spurred our great conversation the following night.
Yeah.
So
it did. We had to come to Jesus.
We did. And me being the internalizer that I am, I needed somebody to just be like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
And
you weren't being yourself.
That's exactly what you did.
Yeah.
I mean, our friends were noticing. Gabe apparently, I probably shouldn't have said that, but you know, whatever.
It's all right.
Gabe had reached out to Jason and was like, what's up with Ben?
Right.
You know, and things, I don't know.
I think it's tough for us to see our own self. And that's why I always tell you and Jesper and all my friends and Megan, if I'm like getting off the rails, if I'm being aggressive, please tell me, because sometimes I can't see, you can't see in front of your own face.
True.
You're your own person.
Blinders.
If you could, be an out of body, I'm like, oh,
what are you doing?
Right.
Yeah. And it's like that for me at work too, because apparently I can be a real dick to the people in the office at work.
I was going to ask you, because I know when early in our relationship, they had a like come to Jesus
They sure
with you.
did.
And I was wondering if, like, before you and I talked, if that was happening again at work. You didn't bring anything up about it, but I was just curious if you were thinking that you were noticing that they were kind of like.
No, nobody had called me out. In fact, I've kind of worked on my relationship with one of them. She's in sales support, so she's essentially the one that has to deal with all my shit.
Yeah.
I mean, I sell something, I give her all the paperwork.
Right.
I had a really bad habit of giving her 3/4 of the paperwork and just saying, I'll get you the other stuff later. And it was selfish because I wanted the equipment to be installed as soon as possible. So I was just like, I'll get that to her later. She doesn't need it for the order.
So you gave her the stuff to get the install in, but not the rest of it.
Exactly.
Okay.
And finally, I just told her, please just tell me no. It's like, you can tell me no. It's okay.
Yeah.
And she was like, well, I don't ever want to come across as offensive. And I'm like, I don't care.
Right.
Like, if I'm doing something, if I'm being selfish and kind of being a prick about stuff, just tell me, you know what? I can't place that order because you didn't turn this form in. And I'll go get the form and I'll turn it in and we'll be okay.
Especially if it's frustrating for her.
Oh, yeah.
And she's
it
not
makes
saying
her work harder.
Yeah, because she got to badge you for it. And it's like, she shouldn't have to.
No.
Like, we're all adults.
Exactly. So I feel like I've worked on those relationships, and I feel like it's a pretty open line of communication.
And I feel,
now.
and there you have some new staff in there too,
Yes.
so that's a little different. So
Yeah.
you really early on when you talked about your work a lot, but you don't talk much other than like, hey, I made this sale. But you used to talk about other not bad, but like this, I'm having this relationship issue with this person, or my boss Jason did this, and so.
Well, it's so interesting because Tyler's way of management is very different than Jason's. And for a while, I really bucked it. I didn't like it a bit. But now, it's like I go in, I do my work. I have certain expectations from Tyler that I need to meet each week. I meet those.
You don't hear boo.
And life's good.
Yeah.
And my sales are starting to go up. My activity level, you keep saying bragging camp.
It's such a dick move. So here
when things go well at work, I like to tell my buddies.
So truth be told, I feel like you really like pats on your back.
Occasionally, I do.
No more than occasionally.
Maybe.
Yeah, like you'll send me random pictures of the kayak thing, and maybe you're just like, hey, this is what I did.
I just like to share what I'm doing.
Okay, if you're doing it that way, then great. But I always look at it and like, do you want me to say good job? I mean, because one looks crooked, and who knows what maybe you had to do it crooked because that's the way the garage was. But I do feel like you do look for a lot of attaboys. I wish Andy was still alive.
Right?
It's not a bad. I mean, it's just your characteristic. It's okay, but it is.
I mean, everybody likes a pat on the back,
right?
But I don't think I'm out to get them. I just feel like sometimes I like to just take pictures and send you what I'm doing. I don't know. That's what friends do.
I mean, I sent you a bathroom pic today. I never get those from you.
I have some level of a filter. Gosh.
No, I understand.
I sent you a picture of my waffle. I didn't send it because I wanted an attaboy.
Oh, that was a waffle?
Yeah.
I thought it was like a piece of pie with Cool Whip on it.
I sent it because it was hilarious. Cause I felt like a little kid eating like this waffle with monstrous amount of whipped cream on it.
Okay.
Sometimes I just want a reaction. I don't know if I want an attaboy, but yeah, I do like reactions.
Yeah, it's like you're looking for that Instagram like.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's never like to prop myself up. It's more I love getting likes on Facebook. Love it.
But see, that's what we're trying to avoid with this podcast.
Is it?
Well, I mean, Instagram they haven't done it yet. They're gonna get away with how many followers people have. Because it's just too much. All these girls want to be this big Instagram thing, and like, oh yeah, so and so has 100 followers. I only have 50. Like that's
sure.
I mean, I understand. Everyone likes that feedback. I do too, of course. I love it. If I only, and this is nothing against our super fans, but like, there's like a certain people that like our podcast and they like the post when I post it.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate the support, but I would like to get a new one in there.
Right?
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So, oh damn it! I wanted to bring something up. I should have interrupted you. What was I going to talk? Oh, so I want to bring up about the trampoline.
Yeah.
I'm super pissed and jealous about the trampoline, and I felt like you were rubbing it in my face. And
really,
because before you sent the picture of the kids on it, I had said that I was bummed about it. It wasn't in the cards or never. And then like you specifically sent it to me, and I'm just like, oh, I almost said the F word again. I mean, it's okay to say it,
You're
but
super unfiltered tonight.
Well, yeah, I was just
it.
like, and I snarkily sent you I did this and paid this off to get at you, but then I think you got that and responded it with, I wish I would have done this.
I'm jealous of you paying off $20,000 of debt.
Oh, I really wasn't going to say that on the podcast, but that's why I was beating around it. But hey, that's okay.
We can edit that out.
No, I'm not 106.42.
I'm sorry.
It's all right. It's just kind of, the finance thing. That's kind of, whatever.
I get it.
It's okay. But
seriously, I would rather have that than what's in my backyard now. I mean,
yeah, but I mean,
I haven't set foot on the damn thing.
Well, it's not for you.
It's not.
But I guess
I haven't touched it hardly.
Yeah, you didn't put it together.
Sure didn't.
The problem is I think I'm just super jealous, and the old Jason would be like, "Yep, I'm doing it too." Like, I'm just gonna go buy it,
Right.
and it's I'm
Proud of you for not.
I'm having this devil and angel on my shoulder and being like, I'm like trying to. It's crazy because my money issue, I would manipulate conversations with Megan to get what I want.
I know exactly what you're talking about because I've done it too.
So I'm like having this conversation about the trampoline, and I'm like, no, what am I doing? Like, no. You know what I mean? I'm having this battle, and it just, I don't know. I know you weren't. I hope you weren't putting it on there to be like, da da da. I don't think you're like that, but I was just like, can we just stop talking about the damn trampoline?
Sorry.
No, don't apologize. It's my crutch to bear.
Again, I feel like I like to share moments, and it's never to spite you or cause jealousy. I just like to share a moment. Like, this is really cool. Look at my kids both getting along.
Yeah.
But in hindsight, I can see how that would tick you off.
I mean, it was just to the point because I had the conversation like days earlier, and you heard that like I'm kind of bummed it's just not in the cards or whatever. And then like the next day you send me this picture, and then you're sending me a pictures while he's putting it together, and I'm just like,
you creep.
Yeah, I'm like, Ben, leave me alone.
I'm sorry.
It
wasn't the intent to make you upset.
I know, but
I can definitely see how that would. Like
Right.
if you were, if it was switched,
Yeah.
and you were in my spot, and
let's do it this way: the kayaks.
yeah,
You're like really want to buy a kayak, and it's not in the cards,
and you go out and buy one,
and buy 4 of them.
and then you send me pictures over and over.
Right.
I'd be pissed.
You would be so pissed. Like something, it's almost like something that you really want to do, but then I just went out and did it. And like, who knows how long the trampoline thought was in your head before that? You had never talked about. We had never talked about it.
Maybe not years, but Stefan had been going to aerials down the street.
Yeah.
And every time he goes, it's $20, and it's just like.
But it's more
seriously,
the atmosphere.
It is, but. Yeah, I think that's part of it. But he has been on that trampoline like almost as much as he's been on screens, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm not sure where I was going with that. Oh, it was something that was thought about for quite a while. I just never really mentioned it like I did the kayak.
And don't get me wrong, when people listen to this, I can buy one. I mean, it's not like but it's just like
priorities.
Yeah, not even that. It's like, all right, we want to, Megan's really good at saying, well, we want to do these things. Is this, and I guess that is priorities. Is this something that we really, because the old Jason would be like, oh, I'm getting it. What's a couple $100? I mean, it is a lot of money, but I mean, we both work our ass off. Both are, we're both 4 adults working full time. So it's $300 isn't a ton of money, but it's still, what could you do with that? So
exactly.
I just wanted to bring that up. I mean, I know you weren't doing it on purpose, but I was like, can you get out of your dumb head and realize that this might, and why I just didn't say, hey, this is bothering me. I sent a snarky ass message. Like that.
There was a day where everything I sent you, whether it was trampoline or otherwise,
I know.
everything, all I got was this snark, just dripping in snark and sarcasm. Every message I sent you.
That was bullshit. I should have just been like, I'm just pissed about this.
And I had no idea. I was like,
I know.
What is up with Jason? I just didn't message you the rest of the day.
That's a good idea. Just put me in timeout.
I didn't even tell you I was going to put you in timeout. I was just like, okay, we're done for now. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
I'm sorry. And here I preach to you guys, hey, tell me your feelings so that if you're...
You tell me not to be an internalizer.
I wasn't internalized. I was being a dick. I'm sorry about that. I shouldn't have.
I get it.
I was going hard too, and when you said it, I was like, "Oh boy, I better watch it."
And then you didn't even even after I sent the message, you're like, "Did I hurt your feelings?" And I'm just like, "Whatever, Jason. You're being a dick. I'll talk to you tomorrow." I laughed and just moved on with my day.
Well, I am sorry about that. I should have been a grown up instead of a baby because I wanted to.
Jealousy is such a bitter pill.
Yeah.
I mean, it just really gets its talons in there.
And I really don't have that a lot. I don't.
You don't strike me as a jealous person.
No, I'm not.
So seeing that side of you was just like, what is this?
Normally I celebrate. Like,
yeah.
when you get a huge bonus, I'm like, yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't affect me.
Yeah.
I'm excited for my friends when they do that, but for some reason, because I had been thinking about this for months for that
Sure.
thing,
Yeah.
and I wanted to surprise the kids with it, and it's just like it
See, I
didn't
didn't
happen.
realize it was that well thought out.
Well, yeah, because I didn't talk to you about it. It was just something that Megan and I were bouncing back and forth, and
See what you did there?
I did not mean to do that. But as
was
soon as you started
perfect.
laughing, I was like, oh. But no, I was like, because so my kid, we're all a little overweight, and Sully doesn't do a lot of activities, and I'm like, they'll be out there all the time. I mean, kids
crazy.
love that stuff, and yeah, okay, they might break an arm, whatever. I'm worth burning the calories for a broken arm, or a broken leg. Well,
Yeah.
maybe not a broken leg, but
I mean, I could use our trampoline if I wanted to.
oh, for sure,
It has a weight limit of 400 pounds, so I'm well within that.
yeah. Well, by yourself,
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
you can't get all three of you.
I
on
can't
there.
get anybody else. No.
Please show me a video someday of you just Andy recording and you just bouncing by yourself. No, they're fun. I mean, they're.
I loved them when I was a kid.
Oh, so did
So-
I. But yeah,
Would you make your neighbors sign a permission slip before they jumped? This is a point of contention.
your
both
home?
Andy and I both feel like we should, but then we second guess, and we're like, is that really necessary?
well, here, yeah, this is another of pussifying the. Back in the day, you didn't even you came home when it got dark.
Yeah,
It doesn't happen
right.
anymore. Honestly, I would just call your insurance company. I would ask them. That will solve the problem.
Yeah.
If you want to and she doesn't, or vice versa, I don't know. Call them and see what they say. They
Yeah.
said, nope, it's no problem. They will be covered. And then you say, okay, have a good day.
Yep.
That's what I would do.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's weird that you even have to talk about that.
I know.
It's
I guess we're just afraid of being sued by our neighbors.
absolutely. Case in point, and this is not completely off topic, but someone posted on Amazon Flex Group, do you move the packages
Yeah.
if they're just thrown there? And I said, no, I don't. There's cameras everywhere. I don't need someone saying they picked up the FedEx package
Right.
and, whatever. Now, do I walk past theirs and put mine in the proper spot? Of course I do.
Yeah.
But I don't want to touch. It's just everyone's worried about getting sued.
Yep.
I mean, the chances are slim, but I mean, what if
Yeah.
the kid died?
I know.
But I feel like
And all it takes is one random thing like that to happen.
and they are dangerous.
They
I mean,
are.
they are dangerous.
And I get a little nervous watching Stefan.
He
does
gets some air, doesn't he?
He gets some major air. He's doing like 3 or 4 flips.
Wow.
And he's really good.
That's cool.
We're going, I don't think I even talked to you about this, but next week we're going to Wisconsin. We go cliff diving.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
Are you going to do that?
I'm going to jump off. I'm not going to do any flips.
Is he going to do flips?
Oh, he is so excited.
Please get some videos
I
of
will-
that. Oh yeah.
Of course I will. He wants to start his own YouTube channel after the
About
weekend.
what?
Cliff jumping and trampolines. This is my son's world right now.
You know what though? We should just who cares?
Yeah.
Let him do a channel. If
Yeah.
it's creative, I
Right?
think Sully really wants to do one because whatever. I should just let him and upload them.
We've always said not till you're 13.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah,
now
I
he's
mean,
13. So
Yeah, I mean, let him do it. He'll
Yeah.
burn out of it.
I'm sure he will.
You
Oh, I also have been kicking around the idea of doing a solo podcast.
what?
I know. I don't
Really?
know, though. I've been thinking about
this
it.
is cool. About what?
I don't know. Well, I had one thought of maybe doing something theology or faith related, since that's kind of a big deal for me.
Yeah.
And just kind of have a space, because
I feel like if you do that, we need to create a network. It sounds
Yeah.
stupid,
No.
but we almost need to create a Facebook page of having, we have our own little, we have Threads and GR Rideshare and Ben whatever, but we should have a website that said this is the whatever
yeah,
make of a network name. Like these are the 3 podcasts we all support or whatever. I don't know.
yeah. So I guess, I always make a joke out of it. Like, I went from doing ministry pastoral work, and now I work in sales. So I've always said, if you can sell Jesus, you can sell anything. And it's kind of true.
Yeah.
But I find myself in this spot where I went to school for all those years to get that degree, and I'm barely using it. Like, I don't volunteer with youth group just because of where we're at in life, and Stefan's in youth group and he wants some space. I get it.
Yeah.
I'm not doing a ton of youth ministry. Like, I mentor a couple of kids at the school, but that's only half an hour a week.
Yeah.
So it's like I've got this background, this training, this knowledge that I'm not really doing a whole lot with. So I had the thought of,
well, why don't we
doing
do
a
this?
podcast.
Why don't we do this? Why don't we keep it under the Threads umbrella for now?
I love how we're making plans on the fly.
I don't care.
Live.
This is a loosey-goosey episode.
It sure
Why don't
is.
we keep it under the Threads banner for now? And so you don't have to pay anything.
Wow, you're such a good friend.
So, and, you know, we'll just let people know. If you want to download it, great. If you don't care either. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then we'll just see how it goes. And if you feel like you want to branch off and do something else, then, I mean, I don't know. It's up to you. You can do it. If you want to pay for another streaming or whatever, the bandwidth thing. But I think with Podbean or Anchor, you can do it for free, but I don't think you own your content. So stay away from Anchor.
Yeah.
But I think Podbean has a free one up to, like, if you're going to only do like a 30-minute, I think you could get away with it. So anyways, just saying that I wouldn't mind having it under the Threads for a while and then see how it goes.
So yeah, we're just all over the place
I
tonight.
know. We still got your
I still
story.
haven't even told the Meyer story.
Yeah, let's jump into that because we're at, what are we, about an hour and 10?
Yeah, we're about good point now. So we were talking about our faithful fans, and we've got some great fans, and one of those is Chris Bruinsma, who came to us after hearing Zane talk about us. And Chris is just a solid guy. He saw you, but he didn't talk
I've
to
never
you.
met him.
Just a real good guy. I mean, very thoughtful, very
He won a contest, or he did a review or something. He got a T-shirt.
He got a T-shirt somehow.
Yeah.
I think it was from our likes contest.
Okay.
But, yeah. He actually lives not that far from me, so we go to the same Meijer. And one night, it was like around the 4th of July. This is when everything's going down with Miracle. She's really having a hard time. And add to that stress, the stress of a dog that is freaking out because of fireworks.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You were going to get like a Thunder shirt or something.
Yeah, and so I go to Meijer, and usually when you go to Meijer, you can find what you're looking for because they have almost everything.
Yeah.
It's almost as good as Amazon.
Yeah.
They didn't have any Thunder shirts. So, speaking of sports, I ended up buying a Spartans dog shirt.
Thank goodness you bought Spartans. I mean, as much as I'm not into sports, go green, go white.
Yeah, right? So, that's all I could find. Sidebar, it actually did help. And we also got homeopathic firework drops. It was so weird. They really mellowed him out quite a bit.
Did they?
Like, he was loopy. He was so out of it.
What was did you read the...
I didn't. I just saw that they were all natural. I was like, well, give that a try. So I had to go to the very back of the store because that's where the pet section is at that Meijer. And then I had to go to the front, and the self-checkout lines are just through, like into the clothing aisle.
Ugh.
I have 2 damn items. I just want to get out of there. So I finally and it's my turn, I finally get to the cash register, and I look over to my right, and I see this woman just inching closer and closer and closer and closer to a self-checkout
So
station.
you're already checking out.
I'm already checking out.
So you need to be, I'm good. I hate all these people.
I'm just going to check out and get out of here.
and run. 2 items. You're
Like,
gone.
Why didn't I just do that? I don't know, Jason. I don't know. I felt the need, on behalf of all the other shoppers, Chris included, I felt the need to say something to that woman who I thought was cutting.
Okay.
I looked over at her as she's inching closer and closer to the self-checkout station, and I said, the line's over there. And she's like, oh okay. And kind of just nods her head, and she just continues to stand there. And I'm furious at this point. Like, I have waited in line. All these people are waiting. You are just breaking the rules, lady. And that's like going through my head.
Lady.
So she finally gets to the self-checkout, and it's her turn. I didn't think it was her turn. And she's checking out her items from the cart. And I just lean over and I say, Man, it sure must be nice to just cut in front of all those people. I said that
I can't
out
believe
loud.
I can't believe it. Out of your mouth.
The internalizer.
Right.
Total dick move. And of course, as I'm saying that, my voice is pretty audible throughout the whole checkout area.
Yeah.
And none other than Chris Bruinsma himself is a couple people back in the line.
No, you didn't know that.
I had no
I didn't
clue.
even know. You didn't even know what he looked
I didn't
like.
even know. Yeah, I saw his Facebook profile picture, but
Right.
that doesn't help all the time.
No.
So then that happens, and I'm done checking out, and I'm grabbing my bags, and then Chris was one of the next people in line. And so he comes over, and then he's like, sir, as I'm trying to walk away. I had no idea he was talking to me. And then he goes, is your name Ben? I turned around. I'm like, shit.
All right.
Who's
now
this
now I
guy?
have to address it.
Yeah. So I was trying to just ignore him and walk away. But then he said, is your name Ben? And then I turned around and was like, well, I guess it depends on who's asking. And he goes, I'm Chris Bruinsma. And I'm just like, oh, no. He's like, I've been listening to your Threads podcast. I really like what you guys are doing with that. And just giving me all this positive feedback. I just start dripping sweat because I'm so embarrassed at this point.
Right.
And he's like, so how you doing today? And I was like, well,
Not
apparently
good.
I'm just yelling at people at Meijer because I'm so frustrated. And talk about life unfiltered. That was a very unfiltered moment.
Yeah, that's not how you want to meet your first fan in public because
No.
you come off as this like chill guy and
NPR.
and thoughtful, and then
Yeah.
you're like, listen, B.
What are you doing? Cutting in line. And that poor lady, she wasn't cutting. She was
Yeah.
in line. She was just being smart and using her time wisely. And as the person in front of her was finishing up, she just inched forward.
Yeah, and you just didn't happen to see it. and
Nope.
Whatever. Oh, how embarrassing for
It was
you.
so embarrassing.
Well, it's at least she didn't call you out.
No.
And he didn't either, but he was just like, I think I know that voice. Or yeah, I mean, they see us on the video too, so they're like, I know that guy.
He was like, I knew it had to be Ben or Jason. I couldn't remember. I couldn't distinguish exactly who it was. So
So completely random. So Meijer has that you scan it in the store and you can just
Yeah.
walk out.
I
Is that
should've
at,
used-
is that at your
wait.
Meijer?
that's so you scan it, but you still have to go to the self checkout to scan your phone,
Oh, you still have to stand in line?
and then you pay there. I think.
Well, no, I thought your card was like, oh, really? I've never done it. I thought you
Yeah.
could just everything was in the app. You scanned it, you walked out, and that was
I don't
it.
think so. I think you still have to go through the checkout area.
Well, doesn't that kind of defeat the purpose?
No, because you don't have to ring each item through the scanner. You can just scan your phone and then go.
I guess.
I mean, you have to pay for it still.
well, of course, Ben, you have to pay for it, and then it's like a random thing when people check your stuff. Like they don't
Yeah.
check everyone's, but interesting. It should be like, because I think there's a complete sidebar, but I think Amazon has some stores where
do.
in New York where you just walk through and you don't talk to anybody.
Yeah.
You scan, and walk right
I
out.
wish those existed here. That's like a dream store for me.
Yeah, I mean, when I did Shipped, and I may go back to it, it can be stressful because people get in your way and you're trying to
yeah.
get shit done, and it's like, why can't we just like scan and get out?
Right.
Not that I don't want to talk to people, but no one wants to be there.
Yeah.
So
And what's hilarious is two times after that, every time I would go to Meijer, Chris would be there.
that is funny.
And the third time that I saw him, somebody was being a dick to somebody else, and they actually were. And so Chris and another shopper just started calling that person out for being a dick.
Okay.
And so we're walking to our cars in the parking lot again. He goes, Ben, this is kind of familiar, except I actually had something legitimate to call a customer out.
He called
on."
you out on that?
Oh, yeah.
That's hilarious. Maybe we should get him on. I don't know.
think at some point we should. He's moving. So
Oh, is he?
He's got a lot on his plate right
Is
now.
he moving like locally or don't you know?
He's moving closer to you.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Of course. Everyone
know,
wants to
right?
live in Granville.
I think he might be on the Jennison side, though. But whatever.
Close enough.
Yeah. So that is my Meijer story.
Yeah. It's just so unlike you.
It is, and it just really brought up the fact that yes, we're a small podcast, but people that listen to it are regular people that go to Meyer too.
Right.
And it just made me really think about how I present myself in public, because you never know when a listener is just going to be like, hey,
Well,
I know you.
Well, it's funny you asked if I was at the National Night Out, and it's good he didn't come up. Well, it might have been good because maybe we can talk about it in the next episode. But my sister was in town, and I was so grumpy at that concert.
Oh,
like
man.
I had my sunglasses on, I had my stone face. He probably looked at it and was like, "Oh, if that's him, I am not." And I was in the front row too, so it would have been, it would have been fine.
I didn't know your dad played in a band.
Yeah, so he actually cut an album in the 60s.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't remember the name of the band, but he still has a record, like a legit record of his music. And so right now their band's called Echo 45, and so they just play 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's
awesome.
cool. So every song you heard, you would have known. I mean, just because it's the old, some Beatles, some Bee Gees, those kind of things. But
I might not know them, but that's
you would
beside the
know
point.
a lot of them.
Even this Sheltered Me.
Yes, you would. I'm sure you've heard of. And yeah, they make money.
That's awesome.
I mean, they do spots, and they've done this a couple of times. So yeah,
wow.
I don't know how they say they have a YouTube channel. How do they get away with copyright on that?
I don't know.
I'll have to look them up on YouTube because
They probably have to pay royalties.
I would think they must. I don't know what because I mean they're not doing anything original.
Yeah. Huh.
So
Interesting.
anyways, all right, let's jump in our unfiltered finale because I got wings coming.
Ooh.
It's date night, bro.
Yeah, it is.
So I'll go first. This is the only thing that's standard in this episode is talk about a connection form, a holy moment, or something you learn. Could be anything. Mine is connecting with Avery more.
I noticed she came down tonight, and usually she does that like at bedtime.
Yeah.
But she just wanted to chat about her thermos.
Right.
Like, that's really cool.
Yeah, I've been really trying to just be a better, I'm not a bad dad.
You
but
are
just,
not a bad
But
dad.
just be more involved with her because she's an emotional gal and she's such a good kid. She's just great. And I don't know, I just, I don't have anything breaking to tell you, but I just feel like her and I have just in the last couple of weeks have just, not grown closer. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but just we're jiving.
Yeah,
right
that's
now.
awesome.
Next week we may not be jiving, but it's been great. So that's kind of my connection.
Yeah,
So
I like it.
what about you?
Well, this is off script, but I mean, this whole show is off script. So,
It's yeah.
you were talking about your connection with Avery. Well, one thing that Andy has kind of been like, I really could use some help was with bedtime for Miracle. Usually Andy just kind of handles it. Like Miracle still needs assistance in the shower from time to time. It's because of, her brain doesn't operate like a normal 10-year-old. She just doesn't have that capability sometimes. So obviously I can't be in the bathroom and helping with that process. So naturally Andy's just kind of been handling it and including putting her down for bed. But sometimes, no, more than sometimes, Miracle would have fantastic days, but then things would fall apart.
Like an hour before bed.
Yeah. Like she would just lose her
It's like the
shit.
witching hour. It happens to all kids. It's crazy. I don't know what it is.
Like, throwing things at Andy, cussing her out, just ridiculous stuff. And it's just so much. And it's so hard for Andy. And I just feel so bad for her. And finally she was like, I could really use some help at bedtime. I was like, yeah, you can. How can I help? So we've instituted this 6.5 minute dad and Miracle time. So once she's showered and has her pajamas on and she's brushed and she's all ready for bed, we just have 6.5 minutes where we put some relaxing music on the Google Home. Let's see, it goes forehead, hand and foot, hand and foot. So I rub her forehead, just a little massage on the forehead to help her calm down. And then she loves having her feet rubbed. She loves her hands being rubbed. She's very sensory.
Okay.
So we do that. And we have a timer for 6.5 minutes. I don't know where the 6.5 minutes
I was going to bring
came
that up.
from,
You
but
knew I was going to bring it up, but
don't know.
okay.
It is what it is. We've been doing this for a few nights now, and bedtime has been so much better. Like I went home last night. I was out driving, but I went home to kind of help with that process.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad I did. It's just something simple that I can do. I'm connecting with my daughter. I'm meeting a need for my wife. So during those 6.5 minutes, Andy can just kind of collect herself after having to help get her ready for bed. And it's just like, that's really good.
So you do the 6.5 minutes, and then you're out, and then Andy finishes the rest?
She takes her upstairs to the bedroom, gets her tucked in. They read a devotional sometimes. And that's it.
Well, you're going to be doing that every night?
That I'm home, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean, tonight, it's probably not going to happen because I'm going grocery shopping once I leave here.
It's not going to happen.
So,
cool.
But, yeah, it's just one of those things that we've learned that really helps her.
You know, if it works,
oh my gosh,
you got to run with it.
I will do anything to make things better for my daughter.
Yeah.
Like, I would walk on hot coals if I knew it was
because it
gonna
makes
help her
your
calm
life
down.
better too. I mean,
And it
selfishly,
makes Andy's life better.
Yeah,
that's really what I'm looking for.
Right.
Like, Andy has the brunt of Miracle, and I talk a lot about how challenging it is, but if I'm honest, Andy's the one that's handling the brunt of it.
Yeah.
And I just hate seeing her so frazzled.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, good. I'm glad that's working out. Hopefully it continues.
I think so. And then my actual one that I wanted to share about was I've made it a goal for the entire month of August to get up early.
So what does that mean?
It means
like getting
to
up
give
early?
myself space before the day starts.
Dude, I don't know how you not doing that. I love that. I get up every morning
good.
at 5:30. Even if I'm taking the kids into daycare and we don't leave till like 7:45, I get up at 5:30 because
I can see why.
I drink my coffee for half hour, have breakfast, and then when everyone starts waking up, because it's kind of self-care.
It is.
I mean, you getting up with all the other, everything's chaotic. The kids are up. It's just, especially with school starting in a couple weeks.
We have one shower at this point.
Oh, Judas.
So, yeah, we're working on that.
But no, I'm glad you're getting up early. So you're trying to just do what, a half hour early or?
Well, I've been getting up like right around 6, and I don't have to leave the house until 7:30.
Okay.
So an hour and a half.
So when you get up at 6, is anyone else up?
No.
Okay.
Just me.
See, that's perfect.
It's beautiful. And I can shower in peace, not, because I know I'm not slowing anybody down. Nobody's going to be waiting to get in when I finish.
Right.
And there would be some mornings in the summer, especially, that it would get close to 7 and I'm still not out of bed and I got to shower and be to work by 8. It was not working well.
No.
So, yeah, I feel like it's just been doing really good things for me to get my ass out of bed, have some time, and then jump into the day.
Yeah.
So,
well, good. I'm glad you're doing that because that's I slacked on that for a while. I don't remember sometime this year, and I was like, I can't do this anymore.
yeah,
like
I need a buffer.
I was sleeping in, and it really wasn't. Yeah, that really wasn't doing the thing.
Mm-hmm.
I was getting more sleep, but I was just like kind of felt like I was rushing. And you know me, I'm early. If you got to be there at 7, I'm there at 6:45.
I need to work on that.
I got a buddy, or not. Well, he is kind of a buddy, but from work, he is always like 45 minutes early. I'm like, Paul,
45.
Yeah, it's crazy. I'm like, do you have anything else to do?
Right?
Cracks me up. He's a good guy though. So, anything else?
No, I think that kind of wraps things up here.
Okay.
I really like this episode.
Yeah, I mean, it's really good to just kind of. I was a little nervous about it, but I mean,
well, thank you for being willing to do it.
Yeah,
because I know I've thrown some ideas out, and it's just been like an automatic nope. I feel like you actually gave this one some thought and said, let's try it.
Well, I feel like we had a lot of content.
Mm-hmm.
If you had said we had been regular recording, you're
let's
like,
just wing it.
I'd be like, oh, hell no. Like, we need something.
Yes.
So, but no, even though I didn't feel real good today, I've been eating like shit all weekend, but I told Meg, I'm like, I'm really excited for this episode. I think it's going to be fun just to throw shit around a little bit and just talk whatever. So before we go, the next podcast we're going to be released is Todd Chance from Daddy Daughter Organization. Mm-hmm. Him and I might have something in the works.
Awesome. Another podcast.
I don't know if I'm going to be involved, but he's interested in starting. It's called.
I mean, you got the space.
Yeah, I know. I offered it up to him, and then you know how you offer things up to people just to be nice, but I actually love curating new, like Larry, our super fan Larry, like he's gonna podcast. I'm like, yes, I got a little. Let me mold you. You know, I just love teaching people. And how big of a learning curve has this been for us? If we can like help somebody out, I mean, like, I can get you it where it took us 8 months.
Right?
I can get you there in 3 weeks.
No kidding. I mean, you work in this huge, monstrous soundboard. I've got the old one at my house, and I'm still feeling like.
Honestly,
whoa.
though, it looks more than. I mean, there's not a lot to it. I mean, podcasting is really easy. It's just knowing what to do, when to do it, those kind of things. So I don't know if I'm going to be involved. I know we keep trying to connect because he has some questions about it. So, but his interview, which was really fun. He's a radio guy. He loves to talk.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like when Eric was on it, I couldn't get a word in edgeways.
Yeah, I was at the cottage and everybody was talking and there was a loud fan, so I just would have to hold the phone right up to my ear. And every time I did that just to check in, it was
Todd
him
was
talking, not you. I mean, he had really good stuff to say.
No,
but
he's an entertainer. He does a fantastic job. I love listening to him. He just has that voice, that radio voice, and he's a great guy. You guys will really love that interview. And then I don't know, recap episode, and then
yep. So you and Megan will recap that, and then we'll be at Labor Day.
Yeah, we're gonna try to live stream, but the connection, we'll see. We'll have Larry tune in, and then if it's just I don't think we can live stream. I don't think I can run my board through the.
Yeah. I say don't bother.
Yeah, we're not going to bother. Maybe we'll just do a picture like we did last time and go from there. So thanks, guys. Do us a favor. Please go to iTunes and rate, review, and subscribe, or CastBox, or wherever. We prefer iTunes, but I know everyone doesn't listen that way. And, yeah. Anything else? Any parting words?
Good day. See what I did
We're
there?
trying to not to timestamp stuff, like say good evening everyone, because people listen to this at any time. So
have a good day, morning, night, evening, week.
We have to come up with something, but anyways, see you later. Sounds good. Oh, I should have been ready for this. Sorry about that.